Let's have a conversation. Tell me what you think about the issues of the world. What kind of spice you wanna be? Tell me where you wanna travel. Do you believe in luxury? What's your hidden passion? What makes you so unique? Conversations with Nicole. Conversations with Nicole. Conversations with Nicole. Conversations with Nicole.
Greetings. I am Nicole Everett, the host of Conversations with Nicole. We are here at Nefertari's Fine Dining in Tallahassee, Florida, and my special guest today is Dr. Torhonda Lee, the president of Capital Area Healthy Start. Welcome, Torhonda.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
I'm glad to have you. So, Dr. Lee, you are originally from,
Oh, I'm from Alabama.
yes,
I'm from Brundage, Alabama,
Okay.
which is Alabama's own antique city. It's about this big. But when I tell you that it's an amazing place and there are so many really special people from there, I'm just proud to be from Brundage, Alabama. It's just
Okay.
2.5 hours up the road.
Very good. Now, what brought you to Tallahassee?
Oh, well, FAMU. FAMU brought me here. I finished up my doctorate and I was looking for an adventure, and I found one. I took an assistant professor position at FAMU in the public health program, and it's just been an adventure since then.
That's great. And you have one daughter.
One daughter. She's
Uh-huh.
about to turn 30.
Oh my gosh. You
Yeah.
had her when you were 10, right?
Just about. I had just turned 15 years old, which is part of what kind of brought me here to, where I am now.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
we'll talk about that a little later.
Okay.
But tell me about Capital Area Healthy Start.
Oh, well, Capital Area Healthy Start Coalition is an organization whose mission is to just provide services for infants and the families that will ensure that they have a healthy start, literally a healthy start.
Now, when was the coalition started?
So we are in our 20s. This is the 27th year. We're going
Wow.
into the 27th year. We celebrated year 25 a couple of years ago, and that was really special. But, every year we have to start a special. You met the founding executive director yourself.
I did.
Yeah, Ann
yes.
Davis. And she started the coalition. She heeded the call of, that governor's mandate to have a Healthy Start Coalition, and she started it here in Leon and Wakulla County.
Now, there are several coalitions across the state.
Yeah, across the state, I think we have 32 coalitions, and then within that, we kind of have there's a kind of a governance structure among the coalitions.
Okay, very good. And infant mortality is one of the key issues that the coalition addresses.
Yes, it is. And infant mortality in the state of Florida, well, let me just start by saying in the United States, it is the irony of our public health system that we are an advanced, industrialized country with so many medical advances, and we still do not rank well among other countries in terms of infant mortality.
Yeah.
It's kind of an enigma. But in the state of Florida right now, the statewide rate is about 6.5%.
Okay.
But in Leon County, the rate is similar. It's slightly higher than the state average. And the irony of that, and kind of a tragedy to me, is that we saw a lot of improvement in our numbers last year. But what brought the numbers down, it seemed, was a discrepancy between the white infant mortality rate and the black infant mortality rate.
Okay.
Yeah, so the white rate went down significantly to about 4%. And then in our county, in Leon County, the black rate is about 9%. It's over 9%.
So what do you attribute the increased rate to? Do you have any
Right.
idea why there was an
Well,
increase in the African American rate of infant
Right. Well,
mortality
there's
in Leon
always-
County?
Yeah,
Yeah.
in Leon County, there's always been a disparity. between white and black infant outcomes. And that's part of the problem that we want to address. And it's not unlike other health disparities that we see among black and minority groups to have not as good outcomes as, as white populations do. And it's really a mystery. We know what some of the behavioral risk factors for infant mortality are.
Okay.
So, and we try to address them through the coalition. Things like keeping your prenatal visits, getting those regular prenatal visits, not smoking, things like that. Doing kick counts and teaching moms how to just kind of be present and kind of monitor along with their own pregnancy to really be engaged and pay attention to things that we wouldn't normally pay attention to. So when we look at infant mortality, low birth weight is one of the causes, and then there are some things that are just sometimes genetic, or sometimes children are just born with some anomalies that put them at risk. But things that you wouldn't expect, like making sure that moms have access to proper dental care, right? So things like gingivitis or other types of inflammation in the body that shouldn't be there kind of pose a risk as well.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I'm glad that you all are here trying to address those issues and make mothers aware of these things and how they need to take care of them.
Right.
So let's talk a little bit about your journey. Okay, so you mentioned that you had your daughter at the age of 15.
Right. I totally recall this time I totally disobeyed my mom. She told me, don't go there and don't do that. And of course I did. Not unlike other young girls do. Our parents do the best that they can. But when I realized that I was pregnant, I definitely tried to hide it from my mom. And she knew anyway, because moms are good like that.
Right.
But, once I made the decision that I could be a mom, she supported me and my family supported me, and it made a lot of difference. I also had kind of a special angel during that time. It was a nurse at the clinic that I went to, and she helped me understand to kind of be present in that moment, to say, this is what's happening. You have to be ready for this. Here's what you have to do. She called me.
Wow.
Sometimes she's saying on the telephone just to encourage me.
Wow.
And I realize now that made a difference. It makes a difference. When bringing children into the world is no small undertaking, which know.
No, it's not.
And to be present in that, you really need support.
You do.
Just the emotional support of knowing someone's there. And that's what a lot of the Healthy Start clients say about our care coordinators, that, just having that person there, having their care coordinator, knowing that that person is going to be there for you, it makes a difference.
I can only imagine.
Yeah.
I can only imagine.
Yeah.
So tell me just briefly about some of the services that are offered by the coalition.
Well, most of the time when people think of Capital Area Healthy Start or any other coalitions, the first thing they think about is the Healthy Start home visiting service. Now, that is the one thing that is unique about our service. And there's maybe a couple of other home visiting services. Healthy Families is a different program, but that is one of the unique features, where you actually have a care coordinator that will come to your home. And that's important when we think about some of the transportation issues that people have and that need for support, is providing that service in a very personalized way. And I think that's one of the outstanding features of Healthy Start Coalition.
Okay. Good deal. Well, we're going to take a break right here, but when we come back, I want you to tell me more about the Capital Area Healthy Start Coalition. All right, thank you. Stay tuned for more conversations. Welcome back to Conversations with Nicole. If you're just joining us, today's guest is Dr. Torhonda Lee, the president of Capital Area Healthy Start Coalition. So before the break, you were telling me about one of the services that the coalition provides. Tell me about some of the other activities.
Right. So that the main thing that people think of again is the home visiting service, but there are there are some other really important services that we do. One of them is coordinated intake and referral. So what happens is that every infant that is born has a risk screening performed. And then if they are higher risk, which could mean any one of those factors that I talked to you about earlier for the infant. And then when moms go in for their first pregnancy visit, they also get a risk screening.
Okay.
So we look at social determinants, which include the race of the mom, which we talked about before. We know there's a difference based on race a lot of times, and it could be based on, you know, whether she's parenting alone or not. So there are several risk factors
Okay.
that are considered. So when that screening is done, the screening comes to Healthy Start, and at that point, our coordinated intake and referral staff members, they work to make sure that that woman gets into the right service for them, whether it's Healthy Start or some other service.
That's valuable.
It really is, and it really is one of the essential things that we do. It is really so important to the operation of our coalition, just making sure that every mom gets a screening, every infant gets a screening, and that they connect to the service that they need, whether it's WIC or another program that we refer to. We have probably about 15 or 16 different programs that we consistently partner with and refer to.
Oh, great.
But the goal is just to make sure that the service that is needed is provided in time.
Outstanding.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me more.
Well, so coordinated intake and referral, and another really important service that the coalition provides is FEMR. So it's FIMR. It's the Fetal and Infant Mortality Review. So it's difficult to think about that, but the pregnancy losses after 20 weeks that we have, and then also the infants that that die before they've reached 1 year of life are included in this review. We don't get to review every case in Leon and Wakulla County, but select cases are reviewed, and what our review team is looking for are answers. Why? Why did this happen?
To get a better understanding.
Yeah, and what could we have done differently? Were there
Gotcha.
services that could have been provided that weren't?
Okay.
What was the health of the mother before pregnancy? We look at all of these different factors, and we have a dedicated team of people from different agencies and from different walks of life that come and are part of that work. It's very important. It's sometimes heartbreaking work, but
sure.
it's so very necessary, because the information from those reviews is what informs our community action team.
Gotcha.
When we find things like sudden unexpected infant death, or a sudden death from co-sleeping. So let's say that that's one of the issues. In 1 year, I believe we had 4 infant losses.
Wow.
Just due to sleeping, co-sleeping, or just not being slept properly.
Right.
We spend a lot of time on that also, but when we find those findings from the case reviews, really inform, okay, the community action team, they look at those things and they say, what do we as a community and those various agencies that we refer to, what is our response? What should we do? So we, one of the things that we've done to address the safe sleep issue is our Safe Sleep initiative that with the traveling crib, which I know you've seen.
Yes,
it.
I
You
did.
saw it at the benefit.
Yes.
So right now, the traveling crib, I believe, is at the I don't know where it is today.
Okay, it's okay.
But every month we find a different location for the traveling crib where people will come in contact with it and they will see it. All it is a baby, a doll baby.
Yes, a doll baby in a crib.
And a crib.
Right.
There's a flat sheet and a mattress and a baby that's on its back. that's the right way to sleep the child. You know,
Right.
you
So
can't have all these pillows.
No blankets, no pillows, no bumper guards, none of that.
No, all of that cute layette stuff, it has to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And a lot of people may not be aware of that.
Right, and that's definitely one of the messages that we want to drive home, because I think people, they feel like they're doing the right thing. They want the baby to be comfortable, but in reality, all of those extra things in the crib, they really pose a risk of suffocation and like I told you before, sudden unexpected infant death.
Right.
We want to avoid it at all costs. It's a totally preventable issue.
Absolutely. Now, there are certain community activities that the coalition is involved in. I know you just had your major fundraiser,
Yes,
which is
we
a silent
did.
auction
Right.
and dinner. But you also do a collaboration with the Zeta Phi Beta sorority.
Oh yes.
Yes.
And so I'm part of both of those groups, and
Uh-huh.
so it's really exciting for me that I get to have all of my worlds collide in that way, because Zeta Phi Beta has a long-term interest in a partnership with March of Dimes and interest in infant mortality and premature babies. So part of that partnership is that, Capital Area Healthy Start is one of the key components, especially with the Safe Sleep demonstration. It's one of the key components of the community baby shower, which we do every December. And that partnership has just been really great for both organizations.
Okay.
We couldn't do it without them. And,
And at the
Vice
community
versa.
baby shower, you invite folks to come out and give gifts, if you will,
right,
to
right.
the babies, to
Yeah.
the mothers.
To the mothers, to expectant moms or recent moms and dads. It's a community event that's open to everyone. It generally occurs the third weekend in December, right around Christmas time, because, when you're thinking about giving gifts, sometimes those other needs kind of might get in the way. So we want to be there to kind of stand in the gap to help that. But the Safe Sleep demonstration is a huge part of that. And it's open, a free event that's open to any family
Okay.
to come and just receive education and get those incentive items.
Good deal. Now we're going to shift gears a little bit.
Okay.
We're at Nefertari's.
Yes, we are.
So we got to talk about food, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what is your favorite food or favorite dish?
My favorite dish at Nefertari's, for a while it took me a long time to ever order something different than the black rice,
Okay.
the fried rice. And then I finally started to explore the
To
menu.
venture out? Okay.
Yeah, but in terms of desserts, I have one go-to dessert, and that's the pistachio.
The pistachio cheesecake.
The pistachio
Yes, That is
cheesecake.
a favorite.
It is so
Indeed,
good.
It is. It is very good. Now let's talk spice or flavor. If you could describe your life as a flavor or a spice, what would it be? She's getting all into it.
Oh, I'm into it. I feel the spice of life right
Okay,
here.
all
Okay,
right.
It's just in this place. It's great. Cinnamon would be.
Cinnamon.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And why cinnamon?
I'm kind of the color of that a little.
You are? You do have a cinnamon
It's a little
tone about you.
undertone.
Yes. No, absolutely.
But I love cinnamon because it can be savory. It's spicy, but it can be savory or sweet. So it's really versatile, and
All
it
right.
kind of can add to anything.
Okay. Is that you?
I try.
Okay. Savory and sweet. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cinnamon. We'll take that.
Thank you.
All right. So, what do you believe the future of the Healthy Start Coalition is?
Well, the future of the coalition is just to continue the work that we've talked about here today. As a board member, we are always seeking other board members. The work of the board is really to support that organization and to make sure that it operates in a way that is beneficial to the community, that it operates efficiently, but mostly to make sure that we are raising funds to make sure that that happens. The Healthy Start coalitions are supported by state funds. And last year we had kind of a scare in the legislature, we weren't sure whether we would maintain the same level of funding. We made it through that year of budget changes, and we've made it through another year. But we need board members that understand and are engaged with this issue, that are willing to get behind Healthy Start and help to make Healthy Start a household name, so that moms know, I'm pregnant, I need to call Healthy Start. And then to make sure that the services that are needed are really provided. A board member's job is never done.
That's right, and you are doing a fine job as a board member.
Well, we try, but we're always looking for more people to come on board.
Okay, we're going to take a brief break right here. I want you all to stay tuned for our CWN Clean and Healthy Eating segment. Welcome to the CWN Clean and Healthy Eating segment with Oneil Brown, the
fitness preacher.
All right, fitness preacher, what do we have going on here today? This looks like a lot. So
It looks like a lot, but it's really not a lot.
Okay.
You know. So it's a dairy-free parfait.
a dairy-free
Yes.
parfait,
Yes.
meaning that there's no yogurt, no, anything that has milk products in it.
No milk product whatsoever.
Okay, very good. So how do we do that? How do we accomplish that?
So what we use is cashews.
Okay, so cashews.
So the key to it now, you want to put at least about 2 to 3 handful of cashews in there, right?
All right.
And how you want to get that nice dairy, the non-dairy, is you add water, but
Okay.
you do not add so much water
Too
in
much.
it. So you want that thickness.
Okay.
So a little bit of water
And a little
and
bit
then-
of cashew.
and the
Okay.
cash and
All
blend
right.
it.
Okay.
And you'll get that thickness
Okay.
to it.
And when you finish blending it, it will look like this.
It will look just like that.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of hard to believe that's cashew, but okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So you come up with the cashew non-dairy mixture, and you put it in a glass.
Put it in a glass.
Okay.
You got
and
your
then
fruit.
you layer it with
Blueberries,
blueberries,
strawberries. You can add some
strawberries.
pineapples, some raspberries.
Okay,
If you want to
so
cut up
whatever-
some apples.
whatever fruit you like.
Yeah.
And then you put your granola.
Granola,
Right.
uh-huh.
So as we can see here, it is layered just as you described it. It looks pretty good. It looks pretty good. All right, well, let's give this parfait a try.
All right.
Wow.
And you got your antioxidant. Still have your protein in here.
Good. And it doesn't taste like cashews.
Yeah.
It does not. So sounds pretty simple to make.
It is, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good deal. Good deal. So how can folks get in contact with you?
Well, you could reach me by email at obrown72@yahoo.com. You could see me on Facebook, OBFit, and also my Instagram is OBFit_the fitness preacher.
Good deal. Yeah, I've got to definitely try this. This is a good breakfast or dessert.
Yes, and it's light on the stomach.
It feels like.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm feeling good eating this parfait, the no guilt parfait.
Eat as much as you want. Enjoy. This, I will say, indulge.
All right, you hear that? So the fitness preacher put his stamp of approval on this. You can indulge in this.
Yes,
all
you
right?
can.
Well, very good. Thank you so much for sharing today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Stay tuned for more conversation. Welcome back to Conversations with Nicole. As you can see, our refreshing drinks are here. We have sorrel and ginger brew. But before the break and before we go, you were talking about the need for passionate board members.
Right.
How can someone who's interested in getting involved in the Healthy Start Coalition reach out to you?
Well, the first thing that they can do, they can call the coalition office. and talk to any of our staff persons, our executive director, or contact me directly. So you can call the office at 850-488-0288. And that's a pretty easy number, but we are really, excited about this work, but there is so much more work to be done. Board service is, it's a joy, but it's also just a responsibility that, I see so many of my friends looking for opportunities to really engage something meaningful in the community, because they want to make an impact, and it really is a good way to do that.
Okay. All right, and thank you all for joining us for Conversations with Nicole, where we're connecting the community through conversations. We are about to have a refreshing drink. We will see you next time.
Conversations with Nicole.